circuit, so I'm gonna football field. DBs down here, linemen, linebackers, and we do a turnover circuit. So here would be the D line, that's our O and D line, linebackers, DBs. Okay, so for this drill with the D line, our coach calls it steal the pigskin. So we start working on this actually in our gym class in the wrestling room. We do some competitive things in the winter time that are team building, where we do mat wars. So we take a basketball in the gym on the mats, on the wrestling mats, and we have guys compete over, and for varying times, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, we may put 3 guys head to head at a basketball on the wrestling mats, and they have to grab the basketball and hold on to it and keep it. The other guy, you can't get to your feet, you have to stay on your knees, so they practice getting into it, rolling towards the other person, and digging the ball away. Came in handy, one of our wrestler kids, who's also our a D-tackle, nose guard, and our fullback, wrestled the ball away in the state championship game a week ago. Quarterback fumbled, the ball was loose, people were diving into the pile. He did not have it when he went in there, he came out with it, we got the ball. Happened with one of our big offensive tackles early in the year, same situation. I didn't put those 2 clips up, but that's this steal the bacon, okay? The pigskin, he calls it. So we do that drill, we rotate these guys. Over here, our linebackers, we do the second man in strip drill. So we'll have, like Coach Yankton talked about, that hare in the hound, where you have a guy with the ball running, we'll have another guy behind, and he's the second man in. So he would work on punching it, collaring the tackle with the other hand, and over the top, stripping the ball. So we do that with the linebackers here. So that's the strip drill. And then with the defensive backs, we do 2 different drills. So we have 2 defenders stand here, a coach stand here with the football. So they stand shoulder to shoulder, they cannot move their feet. So we're shoulder to shoulder, and the coach is maybe 10 yards away, maybe less. He throws the ball between them. They cannot move their feet. They have to go for the football and try to get the football. So we throw it right between them, 2 new guys. Then after we do that, we have them move laterally one way or the other. So the coach will look at them, turn his shoulders. They begin running that way where he turns. He will then throw the ball to the outside of this person, similar to a drill, and I don't know if I can get it up on here or not, but where we do a jet stream or chase drill for a crossing route. So if it's going that way, he's throwing to the person over there. I'm chasing, I'm collaring over the back of him with this and going for the ball here. If I miss, I can still collar the tackle. And then we do it the opposite way, so each person, has to work on that. So those are the drills we do there. Then we do just a scoop and score drill, where baseball drill. You guys don't play baseball here. And in baseball, infielders really have to keep the glove out in front of them. If they keep the glove back here, their eyes are not on the ball. So we work on throwing the ball, squibbing it on the ground. They have to come up without going on a knee. Baseball drill, scooping it and scoring. So we'll throw the ball at them, away from them, bounce it, squib it, spin it. So that's the circuit. So we rotate the whole team. So the O-line, D-line may start here, but then they have to go here, and they have to come here. It's a lot of fun when they get here, because a lot of them don't have very good hand and ball skills, but they're actually good at that drill. Coach Erstein also does another one in his grubber zone. Our field is laid out like this, and then we actually have a nice turf area like this, where he has those, some of his presentations, those yellow squares. They're 5 yards by 5 yards. Calls that the grubber zone, lineman zone. And he does a drill where he has 2 linemen, 3-point stance right next to each other, and he stands behind them, and then he squibs the ball out there and says, go get it. So they have to fight for it. And it's not just who gets it, he gives them a little bit of time to do that, steal the pigskin where one guy tries to wrestle it away. So that's the takeaway drills that we do. But one of the things I want to talk about with you today is not just the drills that we do with that, but what's a takeaway? It's like I lost. Hey, Dave. I didn't click and it went back to the screen, so.
Jimmy's.
Gotta get his password.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Smart man. What I wanted to do was show you some clips of what I consider, turnovers, takeaways. So not only just a turnover, recovered fumble, interception, but what constitutes a turnover as a defensive coach. We stress special teams a lot, so one of our special teams goals is score or set up a score. So I believe we had 5 kickoff returns returned for touchdowns this year. Opening kickoff in the state championship game a week ago yesterday, they made a mistake, they kicked it deep to one of our fastest kids, and he returned it for a touchdown. Second time in history the state championship game started with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Those points were more than the Division I schools scored in the whole game. That was a 3-2 game, so we were pretty excited. It didn't work out, but we did return another one. The score was 14-10 right before half, and we returned another one to about their 22-yard line, almost broke another one, but our offense couldn't get points out of it. So turnovers, I think of it as takeaways or defensive goals. How can I score or set up a score? So we do that in primarily 3 different ways. Get a 3 and out, create pressure on punts, either block the punt, partially block the punt, force a bad kick, so we get good field position. So here's 3 different games this year. This game was 7-0 in the first quarter or early second quarter. This is a veer option team. And this first one is just pressure on the punt. Okay, it's led to our second touchdown that made it 14-7. So the game is really close at this point. Is that good full screen? So
Just give it a 5.
is that big enough? I'm just not seeing full screen, but that's okay. Is that big enough for you guys? There we go. So hopefully the fast forward and stuff will work on here in slow motion. All right, so this is the crazy elephant punt, we call it. Some big fat linemen in there, big guys. So we're putting pressure on the punter. This was a rugby punt guy, so we get a low snap. We don't block it. We should have blocked it. This guy here quit on it on the outside, but we do get a pressure on the punt and very short punt. So you see where the line of scrimmage was here. I think they netted about 12, 15 yards on the punt. I think we have an end zone view of this one. So to me, this is it's not a turnover or takeaway, but it helps us get the ball back with good field position. That led to a score. This is a good play on the ball. I believe we get a tip ball from the stunt. So he claims he did, but 15 here. Gets a tipped ball. This guy juggles it, ends up kicking his foot. Linebacker gets an interception, and we get a turnover. One of the drills we also do in the defensive backfield is we still do the tip drill and the run, and they throw the ball through your hands to the defensive back. Okay, this, make sure on this scenario, this, I think it's just actually that looks like the same play from the sideline. I don't know why the end zone came up first. He actually did hit it with his leg, came up. So at this point right here, I believe there's like 3 minutes left in the second half. So this is that led to a score. So now we are up 21-7. This is about 31 seconds to go in the half, same game, and they try to hook and lateral. And like Tom was talking about, this defender right here, all right, he's not, if anyone crosses his face, he's supposed to go with them, but he doesn't. He's kind of got tunnel vision. But what ends up happening here is he sees the back, then he recognizes that the back is going to get a screen or something. We had the corner make a great play out here on the ball, and he's trying to pitch it back. Even though this outside backer here didn't play it perfect, even though he didn't do a great job of playing it, he's retracing to the football, and they try to pitch the hook and lateral back. It goes over the running back's head, who he was supposed to be covering, and it bounces to him, and he scoops and scores as time runs out for the half. So 14-7 game, we get a turnover. It's 28-7 with one score, with the bad punt or the punt pressure. We get an interception, and then we get a scoop and score. So we go into halftime 35-7. So you go from 14-7 with about 4 minutes to go, 21-7 with 3-something to go, and then you get 2 scores. So on the interception, there was a minute 10 or a minute 12 to go. They got the ball back with 30 seconds. We kicked it in the end zone. So 27 is the guy right here. He's supposed to jam, and then he should have peeled on that back that came out and crossed his face, but he doesn't. He actually tries to go through him, but doesn't recognize. And then there's the catch. Corner securing the tackle. He still tries to throw it back. I think it's a one bouncer, and clock's running out. So, in a matter of 4 minutes, the score went from 14-7 to 35-7. So those pressure times, when you're trying to put pressure on guys punting the ball and just playing good sound defense at the end of a half. I think this one is in the second half, but this might be a forced fumble one. No, that's the same play. That's the sideline view of it. Okay, this is in the third quarter, and the end zone view is going to be the best, but this is, talking about those ball carrying drills and the ball security drills. You're going to see if it's good enough. The fullback, he runs a veer. He does have both hands on the ball, just takes one hand off too early, and the ball gets stripped, and we get a turnover. Right there, the D lineman gets the ball stripped. So you're going to see the veer run right up the A gap. I believe it's this D lineman that gets his hand on the ball. Right there. I guess it was the outside backer that got his hand on the ball right here. So the outside backer the one that gets his hand on the ball. So he's supposed to be playing the veer anyway. He sinks down in, boom, strips the ball, and we recover early third quarters, 42-7. So score, set up a score, you know, great job in those critical situations. We didn't block a whole lot of punts this year. We had a lot of kids that just gave up at the last few strides. We did block one in, I believe it was the semifinal game. But this is another regular season conference game. All right, the scenario here, the first one I think is just a 4th and 10 stop, if I remember correctly. If it pauses, there's a couple of that's just a good play, 3rd down, forcing the punt, so strip the ball. I don't know if it's got an end zone view on this one or not. I believe that's the same play. It's 3rd and long. See if it runs all the way, goes to the end zone view. Nope. Let's go to the next clip. I don't know why that's not working. Probably because I didn't go all the way back. There you go. Okay, this is 4th down, 4th and 10. This is the same school league game of ours. So it's 4th down and 10, and they're going for it. And I believe the score is 7-0 at this point. So scramble, we get a stop. Pretty sure that we scored about 4 or 5 plays later. And if you see here, we're playing a 4-2-5 here, just a man free. So this is an outside, one of our outside backers here playing man on 3. Our monster, strong safety playing man, 1 free safety. It's toward the end of the first half, I believe. And I'll go to the end zone, go to the next clip of it. All right, so this is still in the first half, I'm pretty sure. I think this is just a 3rd and long stop that leads to a punt. So not so much a turnover at this point, but a 3 and out to give your offense the football. And this is one of our stunts that we talked about earlier. We're bringing the 2 outside backers and a 3-3 stack, so we're still playing 6 in the box and playing man free. Created pressure. You know, just a terribly bad throw. Caused the quarterback to get off his spot. That's the same. I'll let it run all the way. Didn't do a great job on that middle backer, but that's his job. When they're in that 2-back set, that pro gun set, so he did peel on him pretty good, but the ball was thrown very inaccurate. 54 here. I think that's where he's trying to throw it, not sure though. All right, this next one is another punt, and pretty sure it's he rushed him. I don't think we blocked it. Got a good fair catch on it, and I believe we scored one play later on this. Here's the next scenario. Third and long. Had a delayed blitz here. Ball's thrown behind, creates a scenario for a bad pass. 3rd and 9. See it from the end zone. Guy right here. He says he got his hand on the ball. I can't really tell, so I don't know if I'll take his word for it or not. Anyway, it created a bad throw. You can see him coming into the throwing lane late right there. Looks like he could have got a piece of the ball thrown behind. Forced a bad punt. And I believe this is the bad punt. So, didn't get to this punt. We got a good return on it. No, that's the fair catch one. That led to a score. I think this is the score of the next play. I don't know why that punt didn't show up. Maybe I clicked on it. So, rushed the punt, so you got a bad punt, a low line drive punt, and then this is the very next play from scrimmage. Power pass with a deep route. So ran right by the safety. See the safety right there. When we do this route, usually we streak this guy, and a lot of times the safeties would come down for our layered 15-yard out, up back 5-yard out, and they've got pretty good layers here, but we noticed that this safety would bite up, and we figured he would bite up on number 7, our best athlete on the team. So this is an end zone view. You're going to see that safety just run right by it. So oopsie daisy. Okay, this next one, this is all the same game, and this is, again, this is all right before half. Probably all done with that, so that's back to the beginning of the loop. The next series of stuff is a team that we've struggled with beating. We either beat them bad or they beat us bad. This was actually the game that gave Coach Harrington the tie. I don't know if Jamel told you, but he has the most wins of any high school coach in the state of Michigan, 435. Huh?
No.
No. And this was 430. And the team we played next after this was not a very good team. It was our homecoming, so we were hoping that he would be able to break the record on that. But they just scored to make the game 7-6. And they didn't have a good kicking game. And we actually, with one of our tall kids, we blocked the extra points. Not a very high kick, but from the end zone shot, you're going to see gets his hands up, big 58. He's to our left of the center. Big screen. So we ended up getting a stop on them, and then we didn't do a very good job. They drove down the field. This is the second quarter, and he actually swats the ball with his right hand, times it perfect, bam, swats it away from the goalpost. So if he would have hit it straight up, it was so low, it probably would have still gone over. So the game's 7-6 at this point. The next clip is going to be, that's at the end of the clip. Hopefully we can get the sideline view of it. I don't know why it's not, but let it run. The next clip is, we're up 14-6. And I don't know why we're not getting the sideline, but we're going to get an interception to the right of the screen by one of our outside backers. It's one of their favorite routes, so he did a great job jumping it. And we teased him because he should have scored on it, but he cut back instead of going right down the sideline. So it's 9:20 to go in the third. We're up 14-6. We were hoping to get a touchdown, but we ended up getting a field goal out of it. They did come back and score to make it 14-17. I believe this is the sideline view of it. But it is, it's third quarter. He's playing man on that number 2. So that's another one of those. I guess this one's end zone first. So now here's the scenario. There's like 8 minutes to go in the game. We're up 17-14, so we get an interception. We get a turnover. I think it's a 3-man rush, might be a 4-man rush. Great interception at the 4-yard line. The pressure put on, and this kid here, Mathis, 5, he's committed to Michigan State. He's a junior. It is a 4-man rush, but we get a great look at the drill where Coach Herstein makes him run the hoop. This guy thinks in no way is that little 5'8", 185-pound DN going to get to my quarterback. But look at the pressure that it puts on him, and he folds him right at the end, creates a bad ball, and we get an interception. So there's like 8:30 to go in the game right here. We did move the ball, got a couple kids are tremendously excited. This is the sideline view of it. Creates just a really bad ball, and we get the turnover. Now the last, so we kept the ball for about I don't know, seven of those minutes. They got the ball back. They ran out of timeouts. Our end zone camera got so fogged up or didn't work right or something, so the guy took it off the pole. He's standing in the end zone filming this. I think it's a pretty cool shot. This is a 3-man rush. You're going to see it from the sideline view. But this is another drill, the hoop drill. So he comes up, you're gonna see it right here. He strips the ball, boom. We get the turnover to seal the victory in the game. Our kids pretty much were elated. I don't know where the next clip is. Should be, maybe it's got to run all the way through. Cameraman was pretty excited. Yeah, here we go. So, pretty much playing prevent defense. I don't think there was much time on the clock, maybe 12 seconds. Three-man rush. You know, I just can't believe that tackle did not want to protect. You know, just beats him with a speed move, gets quarterback depth, strips the ball. So just to see how those drills incorporate into action on the field, on the playing field. So the circuit that we do, stealing the pigskin, stripping the ball, saw the strip in the one game. I mean, and that veerback barely got both hands off the ball, and the DN, you know, supposed to have the veerback anyway. He got his hand in there and knocked it loose, led to a score for us. And then the drills here that we work with, you know, collaring the tackle, knocking the ball away. You saw that a couple times on some of the defensive back plays. So, you know, I can't emphasize enough, picking drills that will help you improve on the playing field. So if you see something that you're lacking in, if you're lacking in, you know, stealing the pigskin. So a lot of drills with, I know you guys don't train as much as we do weight training, but to strengthen those hand muscles. A lot of the guys that wrestle for us, they have tremendous hand strength, you know, and you can tell that when they wrestle, they grab a hold of you, and it's hard to get off of those guys, and they have a lot of hand strength. Doing that drill to steal the football, sometimes he'll take a deflated, kind of a Brady football, partially deflated, and use that, you know, because then they can work on stripping it and gripping it. But it comes down to, you know, sometimes at the bottom of the pile, who wants it more? And when we do those drills in the weight room, we call it the wrestling room. It is the wrestling room, but we use it for a lot of different drills. We do a couple of drills in there just for team bonding, but we do a team drill where you have 2 or 3 different teams, and they have to stay on all fours, and they have to drag a teammate and make them touch the other wall. So, but you can't stand up, and it really makes you develop togetherness and see who the leaders are. So we may have team 1 against team 4. They start on opposite sides of the wall. And our wrestling room was about as big as this room. So, you know, they'll pick out the ones they want to go get. Well, they got a full team. So they'll pick out the stronger guys. If they pick out a weaker guy and then one of their guys gets out, it hampers them. So they have to literally crawl over like on all fours and grab another opposite teammate and drag into this side and make him touch the wall. So, you know, it just develops hand strength, determination, teamwork. You can see when you got a good group on one team and they know who to go after first. They go after the big dog first. They want to get the hard guys first when they got more teammates in case they get out, you know. The teams that don't work together, they go after the weaker guy, get him first, you know, and then they may get a guy out and then they can't compete as much. So we do those team building and those strengthening drills with our hands and our grip, and I think that helps a lot. Pick things that are competitive, that your kids have fun with doing, then you can translate it onto the football field where at the bottom of a pile, I want it more than that guy wants it, so I'm going to dig that ball out of there. I'm going to take that ball away. And then maybe some of those turnover circuit drills will be beneficial. Now, when we're saying stripping the ball, we're not the first guy in. He's securing the tackle. So when we do The linebacker drills, we're stripping the ball. It's always the second guy to the tackle, so we never tell the first guy to come in. You know, sometimes it creates a fumble by the contact, or the guy's not carrying it high and tight, or he's running it loose, and that's great, but it's always the second guy in that we want stripping the ball. So, guys have any questions or comments? Or hey, I've thoroughly enjoyed coming and presenting. We've known about this for a year, and it's been a lot of fun getting the clips together. Sorry the internet didn't work as much, but Jamel, he said he's like the Frank Glazier of Germany. Frank Glazier started clinics about 40 years ago in the United States, and he's built them all over the United States. Nike used to have a really good clinic, but they're really well-attended clinics, and they have them all through the winter months. So hopefully he can start this, and then, you know, one year you'll have one in Munich, and you'll have one in Berlin, and, you know, you'll have one in Switzerland, right? You'll have them all over the place, so more local coaches can attend those. Appreciate you guys coming, and your enthusiasm for the game of football. And it's been great just listening and meeting different people. You know, how did you come to love football? You know, I mean, I grew up in Detroit, Motor City, capital of the states, right? And I started playing football when I was 9 years old, and a lot different, you know. And I was a Boy Scout, and I played saxophone in the band, but there came a certain point where, you know, when I got to be junior high, high school level, I couldn't do all those other things if I was going to devote myself to football. And for me, it's become a career. 31 years as a special education teacher, special needs teacher, and I started coaching in 1980. For a competitive school system that I didn't get hired in, but both of those coaches that I first started coaching for, they're both deceased now, but they're both in the Michigan Hall of Fame. So it's been great since I've been at Farmington coaching with Harrison, coaching with Coach Harrington, because he did coach me, and he's truly a mentor to me. And the coach that coached with him, Bob Sutter, he coached with him for a very long time, and that's, you know, I coached junior varsity football at Harrison for a long time, and was able to take over as a defensive coordinator for the varsity in 2008. So you know, for me, it's a privilege to be able to coach with him. He's such a mentor, and the cool thing about it is, I don't know if you guys can look it up, but State Champ Sports today, they had a program on at 9 in the morning, Legends of High School Football. So they had a program on honoring Coach Harrington. So look it up on YouTube or Fox Sports Detroit or something, and maybe you can see that show. But he's impacted and touched thousands of kids over 51 years, and 48 of those being at Harrison High School. So once again, thank you, and want to come to the States to see Peter. We'll take care of you.
Be back in Detroit area.
Yeah, and he got to be there for the Berkeley game, right? Or no, you this game.
No, the
Berkeley game. Yeah, he was there for when Coach broke the record.
Yeah.
So
Homecoming game.
exciting. Homecoming. Yeah, you guys don't know what homecoming is, right? Because, you know, homecoming is in high school, when all the kids that graduated from that high school and did sports, they come home for that game to that school. So, and because they're closing our school, they've had legends. So the first home game, we had all the kids that graduated in my era from the 70s. And then the next home game was the kids all from the 80s. And then it was the 90s, then the 2000s. So they've had all those athletes and those students that graduated come back. So it was a fun time. It's going to be sad to see the school close, but change is inevitable, right? So, all right, that pretty much does it. Thanks you guys for